to this edition of Newsleader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller.
And I'm Amelia Marquez. In tonight's news, we'll take you to the Bonnaroo Music Arts Festival, and Philip and Andrew will check out the Bonnaroo Inspired Art exhibit at the Tullahoma Arts Center. Tom Corrington will speak to the new director of the Hands-On Science Center, and a Tullahoma nurse is considered as a hero for her actions in preventing a major fire at a gas station. We'll have these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford at Tullahoma and Winchester. Check out the Ford Fusion, 0% financing up to 72 months and $1,500 cash back. Or the Ford Fiesta for $13,995. And my question is, why buy your next Ford anywhere else?
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day He created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you!
Welcome back. Around 80,000 people are expected for this year's Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival, which starts tonight in Manchester. Newsleader producer Philip Scoggins put together this video of some of the highlights of festivals past.
Stepping on the top for a while. Money's low and my suit's on top. Well, he reeled and he staggered and he fell to the ground. And again, Paul died his moan. He wrapped his arms around my shoulder, saying, honey, won't you take me home? Sooner or later, a few shots of bourbon, and I'll think of something to say. Whoa, I can take her or leave her, and I'd like to take her away. Liquor and music, a good combination, if you got a love on the brain. Now, I never knew two women who acted the same.
my stuff dry. Oh, no, I made up my mind, making a start. I'm going to California with an aching in my heart.
Trouble around here all the time. Got lots and lots to let me kill it with you. You pick me up and take me home again. And I went again. We're hollow like the bottles that we drank. You took your wrist to the steering wheel. Bosses can drive from here. We might be hollow, but we will.
Stay with us. More Newsleader is coming up after these messages.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home, our family caring for your family since 1932.
Buying a vehicle can be hard. It's even harder if you have poor credit health. But let the team here with Dr. Credit at Russell Barnett Kia help you. With our guaranteed credit approval process, we can help you find your next vehicle. But don't just take that from me. Here's a few of our customers and what they had to say.
They said they could approve us, and then the next thing was how much monthly. I thought it was going to be way too much. And sure enough, he did it what we asked for, what we needed it to be. He did it within. He will help you out.
Schedule your appointment with Dr. Credit at Russell Barnett Kia so you can drive away happy.
Welcome back. With the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival taking center stage in the area this week, Philip Scoggins and Andrew Todd checked out the Bonnaroo Inspired Art exhibit at the Tullahoma Arts Center.
I'm speaking with Dan Ogren, who has some beautiful pieces up here. Dan, tell us a little bit and walk our viewers through of some of your work here.
Well, the large images are obviously oversized, but I was asked to display them in that they're murals and colorful for the Bonnaroo crowd. I generally print a large field because this is a math formula based on the type of math that's used to create backgrounds in graphics. As a rule, prior to 1992, everything was pyramids and boxes and stuff. When you saw a cliff, it was all Euclidean geometry, boxes. And then this was implemented. This is the type of mathematics used to do determinations of commodities, weather, traffic, chaotic, random patterns, right? For example, what appears random, this is a math formula. I made an error on this one. Repeated 100,000 times, which is 19 hours on your computer, but locked up. But folks have mentioned, for example, that it looks like the Batman building. But it's a repeat of what almost looks like broccoli. And what is imaginary is a black field. And this one, for example, is the number I plugged in was square root of -4. Well, what is that? It's not positive. It's not negative. It's 2i. We can't imagine it. But the computer can put a yellowed pixel each time it encounters that value and gives us a two-dimensional. And it seems that stuff in nature may not be quite so random. Even in the movie Frozen, there's a mention in the song "Let It Go," where she's making crystal cathedrals, etc. It's Benoit Mandelbrot, the father of this mathematics, passed before they could they could do anything.
Before he could see it
Nobel
come
laureates.
to, yeah.
And then there was actually, everyone wants to protect their mathematics, right? He was ostracized for it, but now he's found in the long run now. It makes beautiful art. The real trick is that the color is also formulaic. If you change the shape, you lose your colors.
And that was one thing I was going to say is it's the type of work that you can really get lost in. You can look at it for a few and kind of get lost in it.
Well, those are pretty big too. I mean, I had a friend. A couple of them. Friends varnish them to a wall in the room because they are large. Yeah, there's a lot to take in a little bit, and as a rule, I generally don't print. It's hard to even get them in the room without breaking and tearing them up. But but for Bonnaroo here, they're great, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I believe it really flows with the vibe. It flows with the feeling of the gallery today and everything. And I know you had to be more than happy to be.
I've never done an art show. This is the first time anyone ever saw a photo or anything of mine, and it was the last weekend. I was in the service for active duty 7 years, and then I retired as sergeant, but I was in Metro Nashville Police for 28, so I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, well, you're doing something right, that's for sure, Dan, so we can tell you that. So again, come down, folks, and see some of this great artwork by some of these local artists. You will not be disappointed. Dan, thank you so much.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I am speaking with Miss Kay Foote, who has some wonderful pieces here for the Bonnaroo Gallery. And Kay, how are you enjoying today? Are you having a good time?
I'm having a good time today, and I had a wonderful time doing these.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
How I did all these?
I would love to know. Please tell us.
I was told, please, please, please just make one painting. I said, okay, one. I won't do more than one, but I'll do one painting. You know, I'm kind of old to be doing Bonnaroo, but I remember Woodstock, so I...
All right.
But anyway, so I did this one, and it was so much fun. I did this one. It was so much fun. I did that one. And then I did a fourth one, which they're going to auction off, I believe. It's just... It's this, which is a collage and watercolor on top of collage. Wonderful. But it has the lineup for all the years since it started on it.
And the beat goes on.
The beat goes on. Yep.
Now you have taught for quite. How long have you been here at the Art Center?
Well, I moved to town 7 years ago. So I've been teaching probably the last 3 years. It's just like so much fun. It's kind of like painting these things.
Exactly, and there's something about teaching the new children and up and coming that you're hoping you can get that spark going for them.
I did. I had one girl who started at 12 in my adult class. She took 7 of my classes all together, and she is wonderful. She's a great, talented artist.
Wow. Well, that's fantastic, and your work is phenomenal. And again, people, you've got to come down here. You've got to come check it out. It'll be here through June 23rd, so come down and check it out. Kay, thank you so much for talking with us, and we've enjoyed all the work you've done here in Tullahoma for the Art Center also.
Thank you. Thank you.
More news is coming up in a moment.
Here at Stan McNabb Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with Stan McNabb, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in the event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Stan McNabb Collision Center.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. Tom Cornton recently spoke with the new executive director of Tullahoma Hands-On Science Center. Tonight we'll bring you part 2 of that interview.
Talking today with Sean Amadon, who is the new executive director of the Hands-On Science Center. And we've been getting quite a bit on his background. He's thinking now not of changing the direction of the Hands-On Science Center, but adding another dimension, which he calls natural history. So give us a little general insight. I know you haven't had a chance to plan anything specific, but sort of what's in the back of your head spinning around.
Sure. I mean, one of the things that I have done so far is I actually, brought some of the stuff that I had at my facility, some of the artifacts. We got a big, 7-foot-long taxidermy boa that we now have on exhibit, and some different pelts and skulls and things like that.
Did you bring your boa? Is that one of your exhibits?
Well, it was one of my taxidermy ones. Somebody had actually donated it that had it for a long time, and their brother actually died and donated it in their name. So that was a cool little thing. So we got that you can come out and take a look at. Actually, we did just roll out a few days ago. We're doing a little test pilot program for a new program that we're offering with some traveling reptile parties. So hopefully that will bring in, more interest and a new line of revenue. We're actually going to do kind of how I had started my original business.
A travel reptile party.
Yeah, we'll actually go to kids' birthday parties with our animals. Like I said, kind of how I originally started out. So we're not going huge with it right now. It's just kind of a little pilot program.
Yeah.
But that way it's going to let us, one thing, the Science Center is always advertised, serving 11 counties in Middle Tennessee. Well, why not expand a little bit? We can do, a party in Nashville. There's a lot of money in Nashville. The birthday parties and stuff like that. We can go to Chattanooga. We can go to Huntsville. Expand all these areas a little bit to, start bringing some of that money from the larger areas, back here to Tullahoma, back to the Science Center.
No doubt you'll have a little competition in all those areas.
A little bit. That's why I kind of did focus on the reptile part of it, because reptiles, there really wasn't that much competition, and that's one thing that really helped me, in Charlotte, is there isn't a whole lot of competition, but there's a lot of interest. The kids really are fascinated by that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in Charlotte, I did have not a lot of competition, but I had some. Here, from my research, there's almost no competition. So there's a niche out there that's not being filled for those kids.
I guess I thought, and I confess I haven't been there, that the Nashville Zoo had a reptile
Sure, they do, but
exhibit.
I could be wrong about this. Like I said, I haven't been in the area very long. But I don't believe they do a lot with traveling stuff. And if they do, they don't do a lot with the private sector.
Yeah.
What we're going to kind of try and hit is that private sector with the birthday parties at people's homes and stuff.
Okay. So what did you bring over in the way of artifacts? You have your boa?
I got the big boa. I've got a bunch of different skulls of various animals. I got a big impala pelt, lots of gemstones and small miscellaneous fossils and things like that.
What do you call it? Gemstones?
Yeah, gemstones.
Is that what was listed as a geode?
Yeah, a geode. Yeah, type that.
Okay.
We got a big geode exhibit there.
Not that familiar a term. Yeah. Okay. Well, all this is very interesting. How much empty space have you got out there?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Big focus right now is reorganizing and laying out the exhibits a little bit differently. Maintenance has been an issue, just general wear and tear of exhibits. So we're kind of repainting a lot of stuff, trying to encourage people to come out and volunteer and help us out by repainting some exhibits, helping relocate exhibits, kind of things were, laid out here and there over the past, 20-some years.
So you need some volunteers. With what kind of skills?
A whole huge variety of skills. We need people with administrative skills and bookkeeping skills to be on the computers and helping refocus some stuff. We need people with painting skills, construction skills. We need a little bit of everything.
And we'll be right back in a moment with more Newsleader on 6.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's going to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor, too, when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. Maddie Kane is the latest Tullahoma honorary alderman, and she was introduced at last week's meeting.
Well, you see we've got a new face joining us this evening. I'm pleased to introduce Miss Maddie Kane. Thank you very much for being here. She's quite an accomplished young lady. She graduated Friday night from the high school. She had a GPA of 4.3. She was in her senior year. She was in advanced placement courses such as honors in AP English, honors in AP Math, AP US History, honors Science, AP Psychology, and AP Microeconomics. So very impressive. She's been on mission trips across Tennessee with her church, First Christian Church. She's a volunteer regularly at East Lincoln Elementary School. She is very active in the National Honor Society and the National English Honor Society, and was involved in Volunteer Girls State in 2017, where she was voted the county commissioner.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're very pleased that Ms. Kane has joined us. Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Well, like Mayor Curley said, I graduated Friday. I will be going to Tennessee Tech, and I will be majoring in teaching English as a second language. I work at Room 21 now, and I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. So we're very pleased to recognize you and ask that you stand there at your desk, and we'll present you with your certificate recognizing you as the honorary alderman tonight.
A Tenova Harton nurse is a hero after she sprung into action to prevent a major fire at a gas station. She was recognized for her bravery at a recent board meeting.
Actually, I'm not very active on social media. I know maybe some of you are, but I'm not. But this was brought to my attention, and I have permission to read this. So here goes. I may or may not have done the craziest thing in my life on my way to work tonight. I saw this car burning from the road at a gas station, and I immediately pulled in, screamed at the clerk to pull the emergency shut off, and started ripping fire extinguishers off the pumps and dumping extinguishers on this fire. I helped the gentleman and emptied 3 extinguishers before the fire department got there. The fire was controlled until they popped the hood and the air hit. It hosed for about 30 seconds and it was out again. I've never pulled a pin, but I'm grateful for every fire safety class I have grumbled and complained through in my medical career, because I knew how and I didn't hesitate. Yes, I'm proud of myself. I was late for work, but they gave me a pass on this one. I called the gentleman's daughter and waited on her to get there, and she hugged me and cried and said thank you about a dozen times. And that's what it's all about. I'm proud to be a part of Tenova Healthcare Harton. So, and then there was a follow-up to that by someone. This girl right here is a real-life angel. She saved not only my dad's life, but everyone around the gas station by jumping into action. The firemen and police department said she was a superwoman, and now working her 12-hour shift at Harton. This was the scariest thing to happen. So blessed that she was where she was right then. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present to you Miss Lauren Glasgow. If you would step to the podium. So congratulations, we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Anything else that you want to share about the evening?
No, other than the fact that I'm grateful that he is okay and everyone else was as well.
Is this the gentleman right here?
It is, actually.
Do you mind stepping to the podium and identify yourself and tell us about the situation?
Nick Schellenberg. You know what from me? I've been
well, of course I do.
Service worker for a good number of years.
Sure.
My dad was an alderman.
Right. So, yeah. I remember him.
No, I was thankful she was there. I don't move as quickly as I did. I had to retire a couple of years ago.
Right.
I'm due to have some surgery and I haven't had it yet, so I was glad she was there, but I couldn't move, so appreciate it.
So Ms. Mills is here with Tenova Healthcare Harton. Ms. Mills, can you step to the podium and share a little bit about A little bit more about Miss Glasgow, please.
Yes. So I'm Andrea, and was speaking to Lauren about the training, and as you said, she said all those classes I grumbled through. So every year we put the nurses and all the staff through a annual safety course, and it was actually our plant ops director who led the safety course, and she showed right up for that 12-hour shift to work for Miss Jenny and never missed a beat. Just a little late, but yeah, she got her pass. And we're very grateful for the self-sacrifice, and then like she said, not just him, potentially many others.
Sure. Chief Chastain.
I hate to say this in front of the Tenova people, but we're accepting applications. It's a fantastic job. You know, the saying that we say, if you see something, say something. Well, she saw something and did something, and we're very grateful. She potentially saved firefighters' lives as well, because at a gas station, you know, that's a pretty dangerous place for any kind of fire. So we just appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up after these messages.
5 dealerships, 7 car brands, 1 big clearance sale. Russell Barnett must make room for incoming summer shipments. Save hundreds, even thousands. From original list on all new and over 800 pre-owned vehicles. Every vehicle is marked down for immediate clearance. No reasonable offer refused. All credit applications will be accepted for immediate delivery.
Don't miss the big spring clearance sales event going on right now at the Russell Barnett dealerships, both Tullahoma and Winchester. And my question is, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
And we'll take a look at the weather at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1937 at 92 degrees. The record low was in 1947 at 41 degrees. The average high on this day is 83 and the average low is 60. Mostly clear weather expected tonight with a low of around 68. Mostly cloudy weather expected on Friday with a high of 91 and a low of 68. Mostly cloudy weather again in the forecast for Saturday with a high of 91 and a low of 73. And that's our newsletter report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.
And from all of us on Newsletter 6, wishes you a wonderful weekend, and for those going to Bonnaroo, a fantastic weekend. Thank you.